What about going back to a Big Four company and leverage on my long experience in asset management to actually bring the client feeling and the client view into the business of a Big Four company? And so I thought that it would be the perfect match.
Today, I have the pleasure to welcome in the studio Fabrice Jeusette. Welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. I've known you for many, many years. I interviewed you for LPA. You were even on the cover of the magazine at the time. And you were then at Apollo Global Management. And in November, I heard that you were moving to KPMG. Yeah. And I was really asking myself, how can you move from Apollo to KPMG? So I sent you a message a month ago asking you the question, and you did a small provocation. You said, well, if you want to know, invite me in your studio. So here we are. Yeah. So now that you're here, why did you move from Apollo to KPMG?
Yeah, so a lot of people are asking this question. Pretty much everyone I know, when they see me, specifically my friends, say, okay, hold on a minute, I don't understand what you're doing.
I was like this.
So yeah, and it's quite unusual because what we see a lot, and which is the normal trend, is to have the people leaving Big Four to go to the alternative asset management side, because everyone knows that the Big Four companies are a great place to teach people and make them grow in their career. And as soon as they have a certain level, then they have a very high interest for the industry. In my case, after spending close to 14 years with Apollo, I thought that, okay, what is the next step in my career? Being managing director for a couple of years already, I wouldn't expect myself to stay easy in my seat for the next 10 years or so. So I was looking for the next challenge. And when you think about the next challenge, then you can say, do I go to the competition? No interest for me. Do I go to the banking sector? No specific experience into it. And so then you directly think about, okay, but what about going back to a Big Four company and leverage on my long experience in asset management to actually bring the client feeling and the client view into the business of a Big Four company. And so I thought that it would be the perfect match, because I think that there is a real need to change a little bit the approach we have with the clients.
Yes, and you've been here now 6 months or so. So how do you add value basically for your clients? How are you differentiating yourself, and how are you innovating?
Yeah, so we all hope that we will be different from the others, and that's the statement when you join somewhere. So what I'm planning to do is basically my 14 plus years of experience have put me in a situation where I started to be in charge of just holding entities for a couple of years, then moving on to incorporate funds in Luxembourg, and then having the IFM license that we built. After the IFM license, then we started to talk about the retailization as well with the new type of funds. We've also gone through the opening of branches in Europe, and then also having a central administration license that we've built from scratch. So this long range of experience, also managing a lot of different service providers, because we were using more than 20 providers in the different fields, like banks, obviously, lawyers, tax advisors, auditors, central administrative agents. And what was actually frustrating you when you were working with them, the fact that you don't always have the type of service you want. So this is the reflection. Say, how can I bring in-house what I have felt was negative with the other service provider to try to make it different? So now you're going to say, what can be different? And that's the big question, right?
Yeah, what I'm curious about is you started at Apollo in 2011,
yes.
And I think the job was completely different. We know that, of course, 2012, there was a big toolkit for private equity. It was tremendously successful, but at the same time, we had all those regulation tsunamis. We got Brexit, which put enhanced pressure and a lot of work. So when you look back after those 14 years, do you think that service providers have adapted their way of servicing alternative players, or do you still think they're back in 2010 doing the things the old way?
No, so definitely everyone has evolved drastically. Brexit and the new regulations have imposed, with the AFMD, have imposed the different clients to go more in the fund industry rather than just the holding bit. And so that has forced everyone to think about more mass production, ensuring that you have the right tools and the right structure to be able to absorb more volume. Obviously, when you are always running after some growth and running after having the right team, it's sometimes hard to ensure that you can still think about what is the real need of your client. So nowadays what we see actually is that the market is really large and we have a multitude of different type of clients. Some of them are really in the launching phase where they really need to have a hand-in-hand relationship where you help them establish themselves. Some of them are just trying to grow, and so they are looking for new ways of doing the business to try to reduce the costs, improve the speed of delivery, and at the same time having a good value for money. And then you have like the big machines that have been here forever, like the Apollo, for example, and Carlyle and all of these, where they are really the pioneer each time because of their past and their future growth. They are always looking for what's the next thing that we can do to make the business grow. So it's really important to have very clear in our minds all those different type of clients, what is it that they need, and think about how can we ensure that they have what they want.
And if I take it in a very simple way, I would imagine, of course, you come from the accounting spectrum, but I think you're an expert in regulation. So how much is regulation taking in your missions? Is it 60%, 70%?
So I think maybe we can take a step back on this. So yes, I'm leading the accounting and central administration department, and there, like when we do the job, all the thought about the regulation and how you structure the fund has already been done. So on our side, what is really important is to actually ensure that we have the right tools and that we have the right use of the people to make the job correct. On the other side, with all my different colleagues, partners at KPMG that are working in advisory or that are working in the tax department, we work well together because when we go and meet clients, actually they are there to give like their deep knowledge on the regulations and the laws and how to apply it based on also the comparison with our peers. But we're a good match because when I'm joining those conversations, I can bring in my value added, which is to say, I did it myself that way. So I can give concrete example and say exactly how it should be put in place. And so that's the thing that the client like. So when it comes to regulation, I think it's more the fact that we are trying to be at the edge, explaining exactly to our clients what they need, but most of all, telling them how to do it, which is what they need when they want to be helped.
So if I wrap it up, you basically open doors now for KPMG in all those big alternative players. You already bring a value chain which is quite large because you've been doing everything at Apollo and not just managing, but the regulations, the other side, the tech and everything. But then you also can bring in your friends from KPMG, I'm thinking tax people, consulting people, to expand the value chain and offer to your clients basically the full value chain that they need to become or to remain of course, compliant and very profitable.
Exactly.
Perfect. And it was a good move, I guess.
Yeah.
Then good luck for the next one.
Thank you.